Congresswoman, so for me, listening to the tape, I had a few seconds of relief. Oh, thank God. Everybody saw this the same way. Everybody saw the criminality. Everyone saw Trump's role in inciting it. But then as Luke is reporting as the day went on, that Trump is happy. Trump is happier today with Kevin McCarthy than he was a year ago because he reeled him back in. That the truth doesn't exist for the most powerful Republican in the House. He came back from the brink of seeing the truth, and he's now happy to toe the lie. I felt worse than before. Tell me your sort of journey. First, tell me if you'd heard the tapes before, and if not, tell me what you thought when you heard them.
I had not heard the tapes until last night's reporting. And on the one hand, I feel like the final lines in Casablanca. Oh my gosh, there's gambling going on. Shocking. It's not shocking that Mr. McCarthy involved himself in a set of lies, telling the truth in private and telling a lie in public for his own political gain or because of his bizarre fealty to Mr. Trump. But I think what we're looking at here, Nicole, is the aftermath of a narcissist, an extraordinarily compelling, drawing you in narcissist. And look what he has done to these would-be leaders. Mr. McCarthy has been caught in a tremendous set of lies. It's not surprising. It is not shocking. It is very, very revealing. And I think about my own constituents. They are so tired of this. They care about themselves. They worry about gas prices and their groceries and their child care. But it does matter that we reveal this. It matters that we talk about it. Because what Mr. McCarthy has done, as revealing as it is, his lies, his very words, his statement in advance of the release of the tape, the audio tape, the tape comes out. Obviously, he's caught in his own web of lies. What's more revealing is what he failed to do. He was at a precipice, a moment, a chance to lead. And God knows he's been auditioning to lead and to become speaker. And what did he do? He said, maybe I'll call him tonight and ask him to resign. A real leader would have said to his caucus, I will be voting yes on this article of impeachment. I encourage you to do the same, and would talk to McConnell and encourage the same, and would have called the president and brought others to the table, as we saw in the Richard Nixon resignation. Real leaders of that party would have called on him to resign. What's revealed is much more his failed leadership.
I mean, the Nixon parallel is important because we have tapes. I think it was Jim Comey who said, you know, Lordy, I hope there are tapes. There are tapes. It's all on tape. And I wonder what it says to you, that even when, as Luke put it so brilliantly, when caught telling the truth on tape, they're still safer politically in the cocoon of lies. What does that say to you?
Oh, it's very disheartening to me. Because what I fear is that folks will take a look at this set of behaviors and broad stroke us all. Oh, all you politicians are the same. You're in it for yourself. That's what really erodes the faith of the American people. But I do think people have enough sense and savvy to take a look at elected officials and say who has credibility and who does not. My son Harry has an expression that I like. He says that people earn credibility in drops, and they pour it away in buckets. Mr. McCarthy poured away his credibility, like many others around the former failed president, in buckets years ago, and has failed to attempt to earn it back by drops, which you can do. You can earn your credibility back. He's utterly failed to do it.
And in fact, A.B. Stoddard, he's taken the other path in not only not earning his own credibility back, but trying to destroy Liz Cheney's career. He has backed, and it's nearly unprecedented, for the Republican Party apparatus to back challengers to incumbents. But that's what Kevin McCarthy has directed to be done against Liz Cheney, with whom he sees January 6th exactly the same. When you see Liz Cheney in committee hearings from today forward, everyone should remember that Kevin McCarthy actually sees January 6th exactly the same way she does. He said it on tape. Yep. The New York Times reporters have those tapes. They have the goods, and there's many more of them to come. There will be lots of tapes, I'm guessing, by the end. Kevin McCarthy tells the lies every single solitary day, and their victims aren't just our democracies and just the sort of Republican Party, he's out to destroy Liz Cheney.
You're right, Nicole. When you were going back to the timing of this is so interesting because the vote, the initial vote for Liz Cheney to retain her position as caucus chair was conference chair was on February 1, and she surprised everybody in the secret ballot with an overwhelming vote and survived. And McCarthy tried to have it both ways that day, but the daggers were already out for her, and he had already obviously gone to Mar-a-Lago after those initial conversations with his colleagues in January when he told the truth, and he was going to buck Liz Cheney, and he was clearly going to back Trump and his vengeance to defeat her. It is not just Kevin McCarthy who's backing Harriet Hageman in Wyoming. It is the entire Republican Party. The RNC is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Donald Trump and is doing his bidding and paying his legal defense bills by trying to bolster Hageman in that race. So it's not Kevin has to walk this line because that's what the entire party is doing. But it's so interesting to hear Congresswoman Dean talk about McCarthy's position when he had this moment where he could have been a leader and he chose not. He's a follower. He keeps both camps happy at the same time. He tells them he believes in everything because he believes in nothing except his path to power. The problem here is that in 9 months, it's very likely he will be third in line from the presidency. And I really hope that Democrats like Congresswoman Dean, who are likely to be in the minority next year if the election were held tomorrow, will tell their constituents who are obviously focused on inflation and crime and other concerns in their communities that the people who are going to take power in the government next year are going to try to break it again. Because if McCarthy will lie about this, he will lie about anything. And it is true that if they empower Trump and allow him to run again and embrace him as a party, we are not safe in the 2024 election in our current constitutional order. So it is a very important issue while voters want to look away that they really need to hear about.
Congresswoman Dean, I've had a lot of conversations with A.B. Stoddard. There's not anyone smarter, really, on the what has devolved from what was once the other party, the Republican Party. And I've never heard this urgency in anything she said before. Do you agree with the council that the midterms and 2024 have to be about more than economic angst, that Democrats have this political imperative to broaden the conversation, as A.B. Stoddard just said, that if given power or hands on the lever of our democracy, they will break it?
Amy, I thank you for saying it so well as you did just now, but you always do. I try to impress upon my constituents, the voters that I have a chance to talk to, the urgency of now, the urgency of truth over lies, the urgency of who will lead. Your words were exactly right. Mr. McCarthy is a terrible follower. What we needed in the moment of grave crisis for this democracy and a president who would inflict a coup on our country were leaders. And you saw that Mr. McCarthy failed miserably. I will take that message. You know, the Democrats are often demonized for our horrible ability to message. But I will say that people can see with clarity, we're fighting for the people. Republicans are lying about what's going on and trying to make you afraid about it and blaming somebody else. So, Amy, continue to counsel us to make sure that we lift up the very best of public servants. And my hope is, I believe we will be in the majority. We will continue to lead. If somehow that is not the case, I think Mr. McCarthy will never earn the respect enough of his conference in order to become Speaker. That doesn't tell me anything good about who might be next, but Mr. McCarthy is so weak. You see it in his daily interaction on the floor. I have experienced myself his extraordinary weakness. As you said, he's trying to please everybody. He's pleasing nobody. He stands for nothing. I don't think he will survive a speakership vote.